Hello and welcome to the QA Underground. This is our fourth video in our series on machine learning for beginners. In today's video we are going to go over how to create a text classification model, specifically a movie review classifier using the imdb dataset. We will be doing this using the code from Tensorflow's own tutorial. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button below. And with that out of the way, let's get started. The first thing we need to do is add our dependencies. The dependencies we'll be adding are Tensorflow, then we will import Keras from Tensorflow, and then import NumPy. With our dependencies added, we now need to load our dataset using keras.dataset.imdb. We then need to split that into training data and testing data via data.load_data. We will then pass in num_words equals 10,000 to load_data, which means we are only going to take the 10,000 most frequently used words. This is mainly so we don't get words that are used rarely, like 2 to 3 times throughout the dataset. Now we need to create a word index. This portion can be a little confusing, so I'm going to do my best to explain it. We get the word index by running data.getWordIndex. What getWordIndex does for us is gives us tuples that gives us words in string format. We will then add a line to convert those tuples into a dictionary of keys and values for the mapping so we can figure out what those integers actually mean. We then add 4 special characters for word mapping. Those are pad, start, UNK for unknown, and unused. If we get values that aren't valid, we can use these special characters instead. The pad is used for making sure our movie sets are the same length. So if we want all of our sets to be 250, then we need to be adding padding, so say sets that are 100 can equal 250. Then we need to swap all the values and the keys so the integer is pointing to the word. Then add a function to decode the training and testing data. We need to decode the training and testing data into readable words. Now that we've trimmed our data using TensorFlow functions, we need to set up our model. To do this, we will use a sequential model and use model.add and add an embedding, a global average pooling ID layer, a dense layer, and another dense layer. The embedding layer will group words in a similar way so we know what words are similar to each other. The global average pooling 1D layer takes whatever dimension our data is in and puts it in a lower dimension. The two dense layers will use two different types of activations. The first dense layer will use 16 neurons and the activation of ReLU. And the final dense layer will use an activation of sigmoid and be 1. Now it's time to compile and train the model. We will do so by adding model.compile with the optimizer of atom, the loss of binary cross entropy, and the metric set to accuracy. We then need to pare down the validation data and do the opposite for the training data. Once that's done, we can fit the model and set the epochs to 40, batch size to 512, and the validation data to pull in the x_val and the y_val, and set verbose to 1. We can now evaluate and test our model. We will do so by using model.evaluate and model.predict. In today's video, we covered how to create a text classification model. We did so by loading the data, creating a word index of the data, trimming the data using Tensorflow functions, then setting up the model and compiling and training the model. Let me know what you think of this series in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you on the next one.